Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cycling Podcast. Today we are going to preview the Critérium du Dauphiné. The Critérium du Dauphiné being a preparation race for the Tour de France. This year is the 73rd edition and it's been held from the 5th to the 12th of June in the southeast Dauphine region of France. First race was in 1947. And as I said, this is going to be key for the preparation for the Tour de France. In today's episode, we are going to check a bit what happened last year. We're going to see what the route is this year. We'll see the teams of this year, and eventually I'll make a prediction who I think will take the win this year. So first, let's check what happened last year. Last year, the first stage was won by Brent van Moer, his first professional win of his career. And he famously escaped the peloton with Sonny Colbrelli finishing second with a 25 second gap between him and the peloton, taking his first professional win. And in the second stage, it was again someone from the breakaway who managed to escape from the peloton, Sonny Colbrelli finishing again second for the chasing peloton, Lucas Postelberger taking the win and at the same time taking the overall jersey. Sonny Colbrelli being second with a lot of help of bonification seconds, of course. And in the third stage, Sonny Colbrelli finally took the win in front of Alex Aranburu and Brandon McNulty. But in the general classification, Lucas Postelberger stayed first with 2 seconds in front of Colbrelli. Once we got to the fourth stage, which was also flat, it was a time trial though. It was a hilly time trial with Alexei Lutsenko taking the win from the Yoni Zagere, maybe quite surprising top two, I think I would say. Two riders from Astana, very strong day for Astana. But in the end of the day, Lucas Postelberger managed to keep his yellow jersey by 1 second from Alexei Lutsenko in the general classification. And the day after, Geraint Thomas won the stage, a sprint in front of Sonny Colbrelli, again being a very, very, very strong Dauphiné, probably the beginning for a strong end of the year, winning the European Championships, winning, of course, Paris-Roubaix in that same year, historic edition. And the general classification was Lucas Postelberger, who kept his second in front of Alexei Lutsenko, Kasper Asbring being third with 6 seconds behind. But then we got to the higher regions, the mountains. Alejandro Valverde winning in a sprint of elite riders, 20 elite riders. But in the general classification, finally Lutsenko managed to take first place, take the yellow jersey in front of Yoni Zagere, his teammate Wilco Kelderman being third at the time. But then the last two stages was won by Marc Padon, the two hard stages. First stage being to La Plania, the other one to Les Jets. Marc Padon taking the win, really impressive in front of Richie Porte and Miguel Angel Lopez. But it was Richie Porte who did win the yellow jersey in front of, who was first place in the yellow jersey ranking, general classification in front of Alexei Lutsenko, 17 seconds being his gap. And the last stage he didn't, Marc Padon winning again, of course, in front of Jonas Vingegaard, Patrick Conrad. Richie Porte kept his jersey in front of Alexei Lutsenko and Geraint Thomas, Porte's teammate, completing the podium. The points classifications was unsurprisingly won by Colbrelli, finishing second a few times, with winning a stage, of course. And the King of the Mountain was won by Marc Padon. He's coming again this year after maybe not as good beginning of the season, and hopefully save a bit of EF education status for next year in the World Tour. He winning the polka dot jersey. The youth classification was won by David Cotu. Now, enough about last year. Let's talk about this year's edition. This year's edition, the first stage is from La Vole-sur-Rhône to Beauchastel, 192 kilometers. A couple of categorized climbs. The toughest one being Col de l'Isère, 9.9 kilometers long with a 4.2% gradient. It's probably going to be the breakaway who wins on that day. And stage 2 is from Saint-Piré to Brive-Charensac, hope I'm saying these names right. 170 kilometers. Um, there's tougher climbing in the end of the stage. Um, there are two category climbs. No, two. There's a category climb of second category. There's a climb of second category, two of the third category, and one of the fourth. The hardest one of second category being 11.6 kilometers long with 4.1% gradient. And the stage 3 from Saint-Paulien to Chastres-Sancy, 169 kilometers, is another hilly stage at the beginning of the race. Has an uphill finish, the final uphill finish being a climb of second category, 6.2 kilometer climb with 5.6 average. This probably should start to shape the general classification, see who really is strong. I don't think this might be the favorites taking the win, and this also might be the breakaway, like probably the first two stages. I don't know, but in the fourth, now it really starts to get interesting for the general classification is the fourth stage, which is a time trial, a very real time trial from Montbrisson to La Bâtie du Herfé, 39.9 kilometers. It's flat. This should There's a bit of a lump and bump in the route, but this should finally give us some time gaps between the favorites, between the GC contenders. Because in stage 5, which is I must say like a flat race, a flat stage from Tizy-les-Bourges to Chantrey, 162.5 kilometers. Hopefully the sprinters taking their chances, because in stage 6 I don't think it will be them or any other stage in the race, because 6, 7 and 8 are going to be tough stages. This is probably going to tell us who wins. Stage 6 being the longest stage with 196.5 kilometers. It's another hilly stage. The climbing becomes more and more intense during the day, and this is probably going to finally decide who isn't going to win the Dauphiné, but not going to tell us who is going to win the Dauphiné. But what is going to tell us is stage 7 and stage 8, these being the two mountain stages, not the hill stages. It takes us to the Alps, uses the Tour de France most well-used climbs, the Col du Galibier, the Col de la Croix de Fer, with the finish in Vosgeny. This is serious business now. The race will continue into Alpe d'Huez, finish on a category 2 climb in Vosgeny, like I said, short but steep, 5.7 kilometers long with 6.2 gradient. The beginning of the climb for the first 4 kilometers is the most trickier with 9.5 gradient. Stage 8, which is the final stage, is from Saint-Alban-Liège to Plateau de Solasson, 139 kilometers. That's where it's going to end on Plateau de Solasson, 11.3 kilometer climb with 9.2. This is where we should finally see who wins the Critérium du Dauphiné. Now let's see the contenders. Let's see which team, what riders every team are bringing. The strongest team is probably Jumbo-Visma. Probably bringing everyone they want to bring to the Tour de France, except Sepp Kuss, who is going to the Tour de Suisse. Jumbo-Visma bring a very, very strong team with Primož Roglic, bringing Jonas Vingegaard, the two riders who finished second in the last 2 editions of the Tour behind Tadej Pogačar, and Tadej Pogačar is not coming, right? Because UAE are bringing Brandon McNulty and Juan Ayuso with Sean Bennett, Rafael Majka coming, also a strong team, but without Tadej Pogačar, who's going to be their main man in the Tour. But let's go back to Jumbo-Visma. Jumbo-Visma Wout van Aert and Rowan Dennis. Then Wout van Aert probably going to be strong in the hilly stages, the flat stages. Rowan Dennis going to try his thing in the time trial. So will Primož Roglic and Wout van Aert, probably the strongest team out there. Defending champion Richie Porte will not line up for the Ineos Grenadiers because in the Giro d'Italia, as you might know, he had to make an exit through illness. The Ineos Grenadiers have won 7 of the 11 last editions, And they do also bring a very, very strong squad with Ethan Hayter, Philippe Boganna, and Theo Gegenhardt. Before we continue, I'd like to say this is a new channel on YouTube. Hopefully you can expand this beyond YouTube, put this podcast also on Spotify or other podcast places you might like. So, to help grow the channel, subscribe, like, share. You could be like the first people to make this channel big. You can, like, in 2 years' time, maybe this will be a famous podcast, and you can say, "Oh yeah, I was the first one to subscribe." Might be quite cool. So why not? Come on, you legends. What do you care? Just 2 seconds. Come on. I know. I'm sounding a bit pushy, but just come on. Let's do it. As I said, Team Emirates, Brad McNulty, Juan Ayuso, and Tadej Pogacar is not coming. But Byron Vittorius have a very, very interesting squad. As always, it's not always clear who's going to be their main man. Bringing Dylan Teuns with, who won the Flèche Wallonne, strong, also very strong in La Doyenne, Liège-Bastogne-Liège. He'll probably be there for the hilly stages, but they're bringing up last year's Giro runner-up Damiano Caruso, Jack Haig is coming, Peu Bilbao after strong Giros coming. So they're probably going to contend to have strength for stages and the GC. But Movistar is bringing Enric Mas, and Astana is bringing Alexei Lutsenko, who, as you might know, had a very, very strong Dauphiné last year. Bora Hansgrohe, Wilco Kelderman's coming with tied legs from the Giro, but breakaway artists like Nils Pollitt and Patrick Conrad would probably do it on the early stages, which are hilly. For the French teams, let's go to AG Duzer, Citroën. They're bringing Ben O'Connor, the Australian. Yeah, he's strong. He'll probably go there for the podium. And David Gaudu and Michael Storer for Groupama FDG. Mike Podun is coming back for EF Education, Easy Post with Esteban Chavez, and they're probably going to be there in the latter stages for the mountain. X missed the tour. They didn't get a wild card, but they will hopefully show with Tobias Johannesson. They hopefully show the Tour de France what they are missing, and that next year they should be there. That's the teams, or the main contenders. If you look at the other teams, Intermarché want to go Gobert bringing Manges and Bakelands. Lotto Soudal bringing Van Hoeken and Van Gils, exciting Belgian young talent. The Koenig Quickstep are bringing Bagioli and Cavagna. Bagioli good for the breakaway, Cavagna also breakaway and the time trial. Israel Prematech bringing, hopefully to earn some points, bringing fuglsang and Michael Woods. These are the strongest teams, I might say. Trek are bringing Stuyven Galopin. It's okay, nothing special. Maybe Groupama bring Madouab, which might be fun for the French supporters as well. And that's it. That's the main names, I think. Jakob Fuglsang, yes, won this twice already, and in 2017, 2019, and he will hopefully give Israel Prematic the points they need. So before I go to the prediction, who I think will win, please remember to subscribe to this channel. I know I said this before, just do it, come on, help this channel grow. Absolute legends. Let's see. Okay, so let's go now. Serious business. Who's gonna win? Yellow jersey, in my opinion, will go to Primoz Roglic. I mean, Jumbo-Visma have the strongest team. Jonas Vingegaard is there to help. Wout van Aert can do a job in the mountains. Can Rowan Dennis. I think they are the ones who are gonna win. Steven Kruijswijk I think is also coming. So yeah, yellow for Roglic. Wout van Aert is gonna win green because there aren't many actual sprints, but he can always win the breakaway. Wout van Aert he's special. Yeah, I don't know how to say. He's just special. He can win in every terrain. So he will win the green, he will go for stages, he will win stages, he will help in the mountains. Yeah, he's gonna get the green. If we go to the polka dots and the white, let's just see what's so special about the Dauphiné. Dauphiné, he, it's not like the tour, it's a major preparation for the tour, but it has like an old school feel to it. Um, it visits old towns or villages that can't go, that the tour can't do, because the peloton and the caravan is much smaller than the one on the tour. Um, but it's probably the most important one-day race, or the most interesting one. Maybe supporters of the Basque Country or Paris-Nice will say differently, but in my opinion, it is a very, very special race, something really to look forward to every year. And from then, you look forward to the tour. If you know Dauphine is coming, you know the tour is coming. Let's go to the polka dot jersey. The polka dot jersey, that's always a hard one because you don't know if it's going to go to the breakaway, or if it's going to go to the or if it's going to go to someone from the GC. I think because there's so many breakaway chances, especially at the beginning of the race, in my opinion, it's going to go to, let's see, I don't know. You know what? Wild guess. Dylan Tunes. Why not? Come on, Dylan. Show me what you can do. And as for the white jersey, Brandon McNulty. I don't, probably Brandon McNulty or Juan Ayuso, someone from the UAE Emirates. One of the two who will be strongest in the whoever's going to be their main contender. Their front man is going to win the white jersey. They're very equal. They're both good at the time trial and they're both good in the mountains. But let's say Brandon McNulty. I think he's a bit older, so he might be able to survive the climbs longer. He's used to this more than Juan Ayuso, who's still young. I mean, he's going to be a brilliant rider, Juan Ayuso. So Brandon McNulty. But I go Brandon McNulty with the white jersey. Anyway, that's it. Hear from you or listen from you next time. I still don't know how to finish a podcast. Yeah, I'll just say come back next time. Yeah. Bye for now.